Hello and welcome to News Review. This week, local police officer Peter Lugnani was found not guilty on all charges of rape levelled against him by fellow police officers. The jury returned a unanimous verdict Tuesday morning following closing submissions from lawyers. The police has not commented on whether Mr Lugnani will return to the force.
Peter Lugnani of 9 Galpa Barracks had pleaded not guilty to 5 counts of rape against 2 complainants in 2 separate incidents in 2012 and 2009. Both complainants were themselves also serving police officers at the time. Yesterday, the defendant was already found not guilty of 1 charge after Justice Barrington Black directed the jury to acquit him. Mr Lugnani, represented by John Causa and Patrick Ganessa, maintained his innocence throughout the trial, saying the sexual acts with the complainants had been consensual. Mr Lugnani, now cleared of all charges, has been interdicted by the Royal Gibraltar Police since his arrest. GBC has asked the RGP whether he'll be reinstated, but the force has refused to comment, saying all matters will be dealt with internally.
In the ongoing multi-million-pound conspiracy to defraud case, the Supreme Court heard on Tuesday almost 2 hours of secret recordings in which Rebecca Marache confronts her brothers Benjamin and Solomon for allegedly remortgaging a property of hers without her consent. In the recordings, Benjamin Marache talks about the family living a lie for 20 years, with everything paid from the office. Solomon Marache tells his sister he knew everything was going to blow up one day, adding, "and it's blown up."
In December 2009, just months before the collapse of the former law firm Marache & Co., Rebecca Marache and her husband Alistair Miller recorded a series of conversations with Benjamin and Solomon Marache. Miss Marache had seemingly just found out that a property of hers had been remortgaged, allegedly without her consent, by the former law firm run by her brothers. She decided to confront them about this and secretly record what were at times heated and emotional conversations. At one point, Mr Miller asked Benjamin Marache, "Leanne Turnbull has aided and abetted a fraud committed by you, right?" Mr Miller presses for a clear answer, and Benjamin Marache says, "Yeah, you're right." In a separate conversation, again recorded without his knowledge, Benjamin Marache is heard telling his sister, "We've been living off the client account. We've been repaying and living, adding it had been going on for 20 to 25 years. At one point in the sometimes difficult to comprehend recordings, Solomon Marache also says his brother Isaac Marache was playing the card that he didn't know anything, but there are emails left, right and centre suggesting the opposite, he claims. At times, both Solomon and Benjamin Marache are heard crying. Benjamin says, "We've got to stick together, because if we don't stick together, everything's going to disappear." All 3 brothers, together with Leanne Turnbull, are jointly charged with 2 counts of conspiracy to defraud. They've pleaded not guilty. Live evidence continues.
Meanwhile, the Supreme Court heard on Thursday how Benjamin Marache claims to have set up the former law firm's London office using client money. In secret recordings made by his sister Rebecca Marache and her husband Alistair Miller without his knowledge, Benjamin Marache appears to claim he took £200,000 or £300,000 from a client to start a Marache & Co. office in the UK capital in 1995.
Isaac, Benjamin and Solomon Marache, together with Leanne Turnbull, are jointly charged with 2 counts of conspiracy to defraud millions of pounds of client monies. They've pleaded not guilty. In the secret tapes recorded by Rebecca Marache and her husband in December 2009, Benjamin Marache tells his sister that the firm had been looking for properties to remortgage just to try to bail ourselves out. At one point in the sometimes difficult to comprehend recordings, Rebecca Marache inquires about the proceeds from some property sales. Benjamin Marache responds that everything that was sold was to repay clients. An emotional Benjamin Marache admits he hadn't slept properly in 6 months. He surmises, "Rebecca, it's all been a lie. For 20 years, it's been a lie." Benjamin Marache asks his sister how she thinks their brother Isaac Marache bought a £6 million property off the Sultan of Brunei. £6 million from where? He asks rhetorically. From money from the client account, he says. In the secret tapes, Benjamin Marache also reveals that despite being his partner in business, he couldn't trust his brother Isaac, as he was allegedly lying constantly. He knows about everything, said Benjamin, but I can't work with somebody like Isaac because it's too many lies. He doesn't have any morals. He just doesn't care. Isaac is pretending he knows nothing, said Benjamin, but the debt goes back 20 years or 25 years. Live evidence continues in the Supreme Court.
The leader of the opposition used his New Year message to once again level accusations of misleading Parliament and the public when answering questions on credit finance company and financial assistance given to the Sunborn Hotel. In a party political broadcast, Daniel Feetham said the opposition's main concern is that the government is using credit finance to fund its hugely expensive manifesto commitments and provide loans to third parties without having to account to Parliament or the public.
This amount represents just over a third of the size of the economy. Imagine what would have happened in the United Kingdom if ministers had secretly decided to form a government company and pour such huge sums of money into it without telling their taxpayer or Parliament about it. There would have been a national outcry. Under the administration of this so-called New Dawn government, the only reason why we found out about this was because a concerned member of the public with knowledge of these matters told us that the Chief Minister had lied to me in Parliament when he said that the government had not directly or indirectly provided any financial assistance to the owners of the Sunborn, when a near £30 million loan had in fact been made.
Mr. Feetham said the crisis with Spain had been aggravated and become focused on the Chief Minister because of his inflammatory statements and handling of foreign affairs. He said he wanted to assure that the GST opposition would continue holding the government to account for the good of the community. The GGCA union held an EGM on Friday to see how its membership feels about a two-tier system of new working hours proposed by the government and which forms part of the civil service reforms. No final decision has been taken by the government, which is consulting staff members via the heads of department.
Human Resources has written to all heads of departments proposing two different work schedules as part of an ongoing consultation exercise. One of the options is an 8 o'clock start with a 3:30 finish, with these hours staying the same the whole year round. The second proposed timetable is a 8:45 start with a 4:30 finish, with summer hours applying here and civil servants finishing at 3:30 over the summer. The 8 o'clock start had been welcomed by the Civil Service Union, which now wants to sound its membership out over a two-tier system. In an internal bulletin, the union says the meeting is to discuss implementation of the change of working hours and to obtain a mandate from its members. The EGM will be held at the GGCA premises at 1:15 on Friday.
A new local airline started taking bookings this week for a direct link to Marrakesh. Your flight will be charging from £99 one way or £199 return. MH Bland will be the agents and the aircraft will wear the Royal Air Maroc livery. Flights will be on Sundays and alternate Thursdays. Jonathan Sacramento spoke to the managing director of Your Flight and asked him why Marrakesh.
Well, we did a thorough market research and Marrakesh was clearly the preferred choice. It's a world-renowned tourist hotspot. I mean, I've been there numerous times and it's beautiful.
So are tourists your primary market?
Our primary market is tourist. I mean, it's mainly leisure city, leisure tourist resort. But we're also offering a first-class product. So it'll be twin cabin, first-class 12 seats, 58 tourist class, because we're aiming also to capture some of the business travellers. I mean, not only from Gibraltar and, Costa del Sol, but also from the cities of Rabat and, the main industrial city of Morocco, Casablanca, which is only 45 minutes flight from Marrakesh itself.
So because you've launched this service, you must feel that there is a market for it.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, we started working on this project very early 2013. And, we're very confident there is a market, there is a demand.
So you spent a year on it?
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, there are no direct flights from Malaga because you have to fly with Royal Air Maroc, code share with Iberia, and it goes via Casablanca, via Madrid, and there's an aircraft change, so, it's very, very inconvenient, plus pricey. And then the only other option is Ryanair from Seville, which is, 2.5, 3 hours drive. And in fact, once you add all the extras or all the perks that are not included when you bring up a Ryanair fare, our fares are still very competitive.
So when you talk about competitive, what sort of prices are we looking at?
We're looking prices to start from £99 one way, £199 return, but it's everything's included. You'll be pre-allocated a seat. That includes a baggage allowance of...
So none of these expensive extras?
Absolutely no. No hidden extras as per our clerical advert, which we launched, the actual product last Friday's edition.
Okay. Tell us about the airline itself. It's Royal Air Maroc. How you entered into a partnership with them?
Well, again, we evaluated and we studied, different airlines. There were cheaper options, but, we wanted to go for a major, reliable airline. And, Royal Air Maroc is the national airline of Morocco. And, again, we finally decided for Royal Air Maroc as the best option. And, we discarded some of the others, which were actually Spanish airlines. I won't say any more, but, it was... I'm sure it's the right commercial decision.
Okay. And the flight itself, the plane that you're using, it's a small aircraft, is it?
Well, not small. It's 70-seater. It's the class leader for regional flights. I've flown myself in it, and, the legroom is superb, very, very quiet. Latest technology in flight. In fact, in the flight deck, the cockpit itself, technology used is the same as the Airbus A380.
Okay.
So, it's the best suited aircraft type to operate this route.
Okay. And the flights are coming and going on Sundays and alternate Thursdays. Do you think people will want to spend a week in Marrakesh?
Well, again, our market research proves that a lot of people actually spend 7 nights because what they do is, it's like a circuit of Morocco.
Right.
Spend 3 nights in Marrakesh, 1 in Rabat, 1 in Casablanca, But, the good thing about it is that the way we've programmed our flights, we can actually offer 3-night breaks, 4-night breaks, plus the week.
I suppose you'll evaluate this as it goes on.
Well, we're actually, the schedule will carry on till end of October, i.e. we will operate a total of 6 flights a month, 42 flights in total. And we're already looking at continuing, through the winter season and also studying other routes in Morocco.
And we'll be back with more of this week's stories after the break.